Hey class, welcome to Apologetics. I am super excited about what we get to cover these next 8 weeks. I want to take about 10 minutes here at the beginning and just sort of give you a personal greeting, let you know I'm excited for you. We live in a day when Christianity, the Judeo-Christian worldview, all of it's under attack, constantly being ridiculed, constantly being bombarded. We constantly live in a world where there's a denial of God's existence. There's no moral absolutes. This is the world we live in. And in this particular world, you and I are called to be ready always to give an answer of the reason of the hope that's within us. And so I hope that you're excited about it. Here's what we're going to accomplish this next few weeks together. We are going to learn how to define truth as absolute. And we're going to learn how to define it as relating to that which corresponds to reality. We're going to provide proofs for the existence of God. And we don't need the Bible to do that. And I know that may take you by surprise to say, you don't need the Bible to prove God's existence. You don't. Let me ask you a question. Did Adam need a Bible to know that God existed? Did Abraham need a Bible to know God existed? In fact, as you read through the Bible, only one person in the entire Old and New Testament scriptures combined, only one person had access, perhaps, to the entirety of the Bible. Every other person you read, Paul included, either had no access to the Bible or partial access, and they didn't need that to prove that God exists. So we're going to talk about proving God's existence. We're going to delineate valid reasons why the Bible is trustworthy, it's accurate, it's reliable. We're going to articulate the biblical identity of Jesus of Nazareth, that he is both a historical person and God in the flesh. We're going to talk about his resurrection and how it is the cornerstone for Christianity and why we believe it to be accurate. We're going to postulate potential solutions for this question of evil and suffering. And then as we come to the end of it, we're going to ask the question, is Christianity true? That's where we're going. So we're not shying away from the heavy stuff. Some tough questions we'll be asking because these are the questions people ask. And so I don't want you to be able to answer questions that no one's asking. I want you to have answers to the questions that you're going to meet as you're out trying to tell people about Jesus. And so that's where we're going. Let's look at the requirements for this course. You'll have lectures every week. No more than 2 is my goal. A few weeks we may have a lot of material, but I'm hoping to offset some of the lectures by giving you other things you can research on your own. We don't want you just to be dependent on a teacher only at Veritas. We want you to, yes, be guided by an instructor who has gone ahead of you in the field, but we also want you to learn how to research and dig and study to find answers on your own. So you'll see a blend of that. You'll view the lectures. There'll be discussion questions each week that you'll work through. Let me help you understand the importance of this assignment. The discussion board isn't just check the box, I did an assignment. It's really an opportunity for us to get together and engage with some difficult questions. And to not just go through the motions of saying, yeah, answered it, I had X number of words, I had X number of resources, but really thinking through the issues and not being afraid to push back on a classmate in a kind way, not to be mean or rude or just for the fun of trying to be a show-off because knowledge puffs up. That's not what I'm talking about. What I am talking about is iron should sharpen iron. And in these discussion post early in the week so that you can digest what other people are posting. And then by the end of the week, you're formulating a good response and dialoguing and then responding to me as I jump in there with you as well. You can see the syllabus as what is the actual requirements for the discussion post, but I just want you to know my heart on them. You also write a paper called The Rational Benefits, if you will, of Apologetics. It's more of a thought-provoking, what is the rationale, what is the benefit for wanting apologetics? And here's why I assigned this paper. I have heard, with my own 2 little ears, I've heard pastors say, we don't need apologetics, we just need the Bible. I want you to look up what Paul said to Titus. Paul told Titus in chapter number 1 that Titus was to be able to convince the gainsayer, the skeptic, the mocker. He was to be able to take evidence and change his mind. That's apologetics in the Bible. And so we'll talk about the benefits of it. It's just a 2 to 3 page paper to provide biblical and practical reasons why apologetics is necessary today. I encourage citations, but it's not required. This is more of a rational paper, more of a thinking out loud paper that's coherent, but it's not a pure research paper in that sense. And then you do a critique for each of the textbooks that are mentioned in the syllabus. We're going to work through those, and you'll give me a critique of them. And then the apologetics research paper is 4 to 5 pages. You're going to present and argue a definite thesis. This is not just a summary of an apologetic issue. There's a thesis that you're seeking to prove, and you're going to argue for it. And you'll raise up the arguments against it. You'll counter those arguments and give me better arguments why I should follow your thesis. This is a research paper. You'll argue your position. So there's an introduction to the research question, about a half page. You'll argue your position, 2 pages. You'll address objections to your positions, another 2 pages. Use a minimum of 6 sources. It doesn't include the textbook, doesn't include the Bible, doesn't include the dictionary. And you'll follow Turabian formatting. What's the grading criteria and percentages? Discussion questions, 15% of your grade comes from those weekly assignments. The rational benefit question, that paper of 2 to 3 pages, that's 25% of the grade. Critique 1 and critique 2 together, that's 30%. And then your apologetics research paper, 30% by itself. Here's our 2 textbooks. William Lane Craig, Reasonable Faith, Christian Truth, and Apologetics. The second one is not apologetics per se, but it's so helpful. It's a book I have my daughters read as they become seniors in high school. The book is called Tactics by Gregory Kukul, a game plan for discussing your Christian convictions. What happens is often a skeptic makes an assertion with no evidence. And he believes that by virtue of the fact he's made an assertion, the burden of proof now falls back to us to prove him wrong. Tactics is a way to put that burden back on him. Wait a minute, you just made an assertion with no evidence. If you really want to dialogue about that, what is your evidence for discussing that? And then we can see what evidence you have. I'm not going to just prove you're wrong. Give me arguments and we'll interact. And it takes the pressure off of us. And so those are 2 textbooks. You can read through the policies. I'm not going to go through them on this video. And then you'll see a sequence and outline for our 8 weeks. What are the lectures we're covering? What is truth? What is the summary of Tactics, that book, and why it's helpful? The importance of worldviews, evidence for God, reliability of scriptures, the existence of Jesus. What did he claim? And then, is he God? Did he leave the tomb? Is God good? This is the question of evil. And is Christianity true? This is where we're heading. You can see when things are due. You can see the textbook critiques, the research papers, etc. I've given you a bibliography page that you can work through to maybe help get your mind thinking for research. But other than that, it's going to be cut and dry. We're just going to hit the ground running, and we're going to learn how to defend our faith in a way that honors the Lord, but also in a way that has a sense of boldness that says, wait a minute, truth has nothing to fear. Truth is on our side. Veritas means truth, right? So what we like to say here at Veritas Baptist College, truth matters. And in this particular course, we're going to defend that truth passionately. And I can't wait to dive into our topics with you. I'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you.